Movie tie-in games are a pretty interesting topic. They were the rage from the early 2000s, like from the early 2000s up to probably about 2012, everyone was doing movie tie-in games. It was kind of ridiculous. You had Batman Begins having a movie tie-in game, a very funny one. Look at this ladder animation. Just look at it. It's comedic genius right there. Just look at it. Which fucking 10 out of 10, let me tell you. But yeah, you had some stinkers, but then you had some genuinely really good games that I want to talk about today. But first, we have to start with the bad ones, because it's YouTube, man. Hate gets clicks. You can't be positive on YouTube anymore. Let's talk about the history of movie tie-in games. I'm not going to go all the way back to the 80s and 90s, because to be honest with you, I was born in 2000. I couldn't really tell you. I couldn't give you a concrete, definitive, personal opinion on it, because I'll just be Googling it and just saying, oh, well, this happened in this. It'd be boring. No one wants to watch a boring video, okay? So the history is going to come from my point of view, so let's go. So, as I said, I was born in 2000. I'm 23. Yes, I don't like it. Get the jokes in. Thank you very much. So my first games were always movie tie-in games. I played Toy Story on the Dreamcast, okay? I was playing The Incredibles on the PS2, the first Incredibles. The second one wasn't as good, but the first Incredibles game, I swear to God, actually a really good game, and I want to replay it. I might on this channel, you know. I might have a whole series going back and playing like old movie tie-in games, because I think it'd be absolutely hilarious, and I may even stream it, so let me know if you want to see the Sticky Man stream. But of course, I also played games like Spider-Man 2, the James Bond games. Some of them were movie tie-in games, some of them weren't. It was quite an interesting topic. In fact, that's a whole nother topic that I kind of want to talk about, James Bond games, because there's been so many that are all very unique. You had games like James Bond Bloodstone in 2010, which was the sequel to Quantum of Solace, except it wasn't. It was kind of like an original story, so it wasn't a sequel per se, but it had Daniel Craig in it. I don't know if it was canon. Anyway, who cares? Let's move on. But as I said, you got some stinkers, so let's talk about them. First off, I've got to get this one out of the way. Spider-Man 3, the 2007 game. I actually rewatched the film literally 2 nights ago, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I think it's one of the most underrated Spider-Man films, okay? Everyone knows that it's funny, but no one respects it as a good quality film, and I think it's a good quality film. Are there too many villains? Absolutely, there are. Harry, Sandman, Venom, Peter himself, MJ in some cases. She cheats on Peter and then blames Peter. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, MJ. We're not stupid here. She's a villain in my opinion. So yeah, there were too many villains in the film, but it's even worse in the game, okay? But we'll get to it. First off, the game seemed incredibly confusing. I replayed it. I made a video on my other channel. I ranked all the Spider-Man games on Jack's Game Reviews, playing through all of them, and Spider-Man 3 was probably the game that I just disliked the most, just because it's a really boring game. It doesn't make any sense. Spider-Man 2 on PS2 was really good. Sure, it has its issues. It hasn't aged particularly well, but it's still a very fun game. The swinging's great. The combat is actually better than the Insomniac stuff in some ways. I'm not going to say it's a better combat system overall, because it's not, but it's better in some ways. And overall, it's just a fun game. But then Spider-Man 3 comes out. Everyone's hyped for it. We've had Ultimate Spider-Man, okay? Ultimate Spider-Man, I think, is overrated, but people enjoyed it, which is fine. And then we're going to have Spider-Man 3, the next mainline entry that is a movie tie-in. And it's going to be sick, because it's Spider-Man 2, but it's Spider-Man 3. You get the symbiote suit, you get more villains, you get next-gen graphics on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and it just comes out and it's an absolute fucking travesty. It is terrible. I don't know how anyone enjoys it. The swinging sucks now. The combat is just absolute dog shit. The acting has gotten even worse from Tobey Maguire. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, I understand it was video game acting back in 2007, but it doesn't mean you need to come in and just waste your time and not put any effort into it, Tobey. Come on, bro. Come on. It was just overall a disaster. And that is kind of when the decline of movie tie-in games really started to happen, because more and more movie tie-in games were coming out for Xbox 360 and PS3. The Quantum of Solace game that covered Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, weirdly enough. I'm pretty sure The Dark Knight had a game in development. So The Dark Knight 2008 film, Heath Ledger, Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan, you know the one, one of the most popular and critically acclaimed superhero movies ever to exist, that one, yeah. That had a movie tie-in game in development, but it got cancelled, which is when Rocksteady stepped in and made one of the best Batman games, Arkham Asylum. Ooh, what a game. But as many stinkers as there is for movie tie-in games, there are as many stinkers for movies based on games, you know what I mean? So we'll stick with the Sticky Man for that video, because I do want to talk about those movies as well, the movies and shows. That'll be a really interesting topic. I think it'll be more interesting than this video, to be honest with you, but let me know if you're interested in that, because I would love to do it, to be honest with you. It'd be fucking hilarious. It'd be probably the most entertaining video I've ever made. But as many stinkers as there are, because there are a lot of stinkers, okay? I mean, we could hate on these games all the time, but people do put effort into it. People put their time, years of their lives into these games, only for them to come out and they're just a big pile of shit, but you know, it's not really up to them. They have limits. They can't be as creative with movie tie-in games. It just is what it is. But every now and then you get some absolute 10 out of 10 movie tie-in games that just blows your mind, where you're just like, hang on a minute, this can't be a movie tie-in game. You're lying to me. You Google it, it is a movie tie-in game. And this game that I'm talking about is the movie tie-in game to one of the worst films that have come out of this franchise, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, let me tell you something, that film is shit, but I'll tell you what, the game is 10 out of 10. I fucking love this game. First off, it's rated 18, or M for Americans, Australians, you know, the lot. X-Men Origins Wolverine just came out in 2009, and it was called the Uncaged Edition, I think it was. It was X-Men Origins Wolverine on the Xbox 360, on the PS3, and on the PC. I played the PC version. How did I do it? Arr, matey. Take that how you will. But man, playing through this game again really is just a reminder that movie tie-in games should exist, okay? Now, I know, what is this guy saying? Movie tie-in? I know, Sticky Man's trying to chat and shit at the minute, but just hear me out. X-Men Origins Wolverine is exactly how you do it. We still had some good ones back in 2004, like I said, the Incredibles game, Spider-Man 2, but X-Men Origins Wolverine is like peak movie tie-in game. It takes what the movie couldn't do at that time, because it had to be rated PG or 12 to get all the kiddies in, and they take that and they say, fuck that, you want the best Wolverine experience you can get, and Hugh Jackman wants the best Wolverine experience you can get, and you're not going to get it in a film till 2017. So how about you experience it now in 2009? Yes, please. So they did it. They went in. They said they took the Origins Wolverine film plot, whatever that. I mean, it's a plot. It is a plot. It exists, and they said we're going to follow it, but we're going to make it fun. We're going to make it entertaining. We're going to make it make somewhat some sense, and we're going to tell it in a far more interesting way. Bang. There we go. Then you've got the gameplay. Oh my fucking god. Devil May Cry, but it's Wolverine. Yes, please. Is it as good as Wolverine? Not Wolverine, what am I chatting? Is it as good as like Devil May Cry combat? No. Devil May Cry is always going to be like one of the kings of those, what do you want to call it? I don't even know what to call it. Hack and slash. Let's just call it hack and slash. It probably isn't a hack and slash, but you know what I mean. Devil May Cry is one of the kings of that. Obviously, you've got like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which is really good, by the way. Everyone should play that game. I know it's not a traditional Metal Gear game, but it's really good. You should try it. It's fucking hilarious. But Wolverine just comes in. X-Men Origins Wolverine just comes in and says, we're going to do all of that, but we're going to give you Wolverine. And it's just bang. That's all you need as a selling point. That should have been their tagline. Devil May Cry, but Wolverine. Obviously, they get sued for it, but who cares? It's a good tagline. You get loads of sales. Bang, easy. But I'm not kidding, man. This game is just insane. You've got really good combos. You've got an upgrade system. You've got outfits. You've got a pretty decent level design that's actually quite interesting. Boss fights are somewhat okay. Some of them are a bit shitty. I mean, some of them you do the same thing over and over again. You jump on the big golem thing. You stab. Then you jump off him, and then you jump and you go stab. That's pretty much all you do for the entire boss fight. Did I point out that I'm doing this on my lunch break on my 9 to 5? Oh my god. So yeah, the boss fights are pretty disappointing, but it's one of the best movie tie-in games I've ever played, if not the best, okay? It might be the best movie tie-in game I've played. Now, I'm not going to do a full review here. I'm going to do it on Jack's Game Reviews because that channel needs content. I can't even lie. I've been very stingy with putting content on there because I want to focus on Sticky Man. But yeah, if you want that, go check out the Jack's Game Reviews. That should be out in like 2 or 3 days, hopefully. But back to the topic at hand, movie tie-in games. So as good as Wolverine is, you've got to have the stinker next to it. So then you get games like The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. First Amazing Spider-Man, not as bad, but Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, not Spider-Man 2, and also not Spider-Man 2 that's coming out in October. So not October Spider-Man 2, and not 2004 Spider-Man 2, 2014 Spider-Man 2. Fucking hell. Yeah, that game was a stinker. It was terrible. I know some people enjoy it. They had it in the comments saying that, I don't know, man, this game's pretty fun. That's fair. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad you did. But for me, it's one of the worst games I've ever played. Bing bang bosh. Terrible game. But why am I talking about it? If anything, I kind of just want to see a resurgence of it. There's been a lot of films, especially superhero films, that have become extremely prevalent in pop culture, you know what I mean? Just in general, everyone knows what these films are, and it would make so much sense to have a game attached to it. And that's I mean, if anything, this is a sequel to the Avengers video I made a couple weeks ago at this point, so you can click there, should be there, to watch that video. But it just got me thinking, like, what if they just made movie tie-in games for the Avengers films? You know what I mean? So Avengers 1 gets a movie tie-in game, Age of Ultron gets a movie tie-in game, and then Infinity War and Endgame would get movie tie-in games. I mean, obviously, it'd be very difficult to make within those time periods, But I just thought to myself, if they didn't be so focused on making their own little Avengers universe, Square Enix, and they just focused on making movie tie games, I think they could have made really good Avengers games. I mean, you got the story there, it's all laid out. You got the voice actors, you got their likeness, you got everything. It would have made so much sense to just make very good movie tie games. So you don't have to be masterpieces, but you just make very good movie tie games that are connected to the different characters of those films. So the original Avengers film focuses on Iron Man, Thor, etc., Captain America, all that. And then Age of Ultron, you could give a bit more backstory on Quicksilver or Wanda, and then Infinity War. You get what I'm saying? Whew, you get what I'm saying, man. I just think there's a lot of opportunity there that they did kind of squander, to be honest with you. Because of the reputation of movie tie-in games. It just is what it is. Now, they did make some movie tie-in games for the Avengers, the Captain America games and the Iron Man games. Yeah, Iron Man and Captain America, they both got movie tie-in games. So you had Iron Man 2008. That was an okay game, actually. It was okay. And you also had the Captain America, what's the film called? The First Avenger game. That came out. That was, I think it was a prequel, if anything. Well, it wasn't a prequel. It was like in the middle of the films or something. I don't know particularly well. But it was basically an Arkham ripoff in some ways. But I actually found the combat system of that game quite fun. So essentially, the point of this video is that I believe that in the future, movie tie games can become more popular. Okay? They can exist. They just have to be done right. So my question is to you guys, what do you think? Would you be happy to see movie tie-in games? I personally would be, as long as they're good. You know what I mean? More games, more competition, easier to make because the story's already there for the film, and they can just expand it with the game, add lore, and just make really interesting creative decisions that they couldn't do in films, because films and gaming are very different things. I know there's comments about games trying to be films. It's never going to happen, really. Graphics and stuff can get better and better and better, but there's more interaction with games, and that's where the innovation and the creativity comes from for movie tie-in games. Dig deep into that, and you can make a game that is better than the film in a lot of ways. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? I'd love to know. Leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. Stick with this sticky man by subscribing. And thank you to everyone that has subscribed. We're nearly at 2,000 subscribers, which is insane. I will do like a 2,000 subscriber Q&A video or something like that. Like we may hit 2,000 subs. Woo, because I didn't do it for 1,000 because it came out of nowhere. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I've got to go back to work for my 9 to 5. I need money. So you can hit super thanks if you want to support the channel. Have a good day. Hope you're alright. Bye-bye.